Hello everyone, I'm F8 Dark, and with the next tournament being confirmed as Turbo Kart Racers, I figured that I'd release just a short little thing explaining the game to the people who may never have played it before. I won't be going into too much detail with most of the techniques, but this is just going to be a basic guide for anyone who doesn't know what the items do, doesn't know how to drift, that sort of stuff. Drifting is a mechanic that I see a lot of people either confused with or just not knowing how to do it in general. But all drifting is holding shift while you turn your kart, and then when you let go of shift, you'll gain a small boost of speed. The reason that people get so confused with drifting is because you also have a heat meter for your kart, which is where your experience bar normally would be. What this meter does is it determines how hot your car is, and if it maxes out the meter, then your kart is going to spin out and you're going to lose all of your speed. The reason this is so important with drifting is because whenever you drift, it increases your heat meter. So a lot of newer players will be constantly trying to drift, but it's not going to work out for them because they're just raising their heat meter and then spinning out. The best technique for drifting is that you only want to drift whenever your heat meter is in the green area. As long as your heat meter is in the green area, you're not going to spin out after a drift, you'll just end up getting close to it. But if you go any higher than that, you will spin out. Now, there's also certain items that can change your heat meter, which I'll be getting into later on when I explain what all of the items are. Turbo Kart is also a very buggy game. There's a lot of points where you'll get a small lag spike or you'll drift the wrong way and you'll just go right through the map. A lot of times, players I see that are new to the game, they get sort of stuck here. They don't know what to do because they're just outside of the map, they don't know how to get back. It's really easy to get back though, because all you want to do is either run the command in chat /stuck, or you can click on the barrier block that's in your hotbar and it will run that command for you. And what that's going to do is it's going to teleport you back onto the track in the nearest possible spot to where you would have fallen off. And then you can just continue playing as normal. It's not often that you'll fall off the track like this, but it happens often enough, and I see a lot of newer players asking in the chat, just like, how do I get back on the map? I'm stuck, and, you know, I'm racing, so at the time I can't exactly answer them, and then by the time I finish, they've already left the game. And now we'll move on to the biggest section of this video, which is going to be explaining all of the items. A lot of these items can be compared to items from, for example, Mario Kart games. They're very similar for most of them. And we're going to start off by looking at the bananas. Bananas can drop as either singles or in triples, and they work the exact same as a banana would in Mario Kart, where you drop it behind you, and anyone who runs over it is going to spin out and lose their speed. And then we have the three different types of missiles. There are green missiles, which can come as 1 or 3, red missiles, and the blue torpedo. Green missiles fire wherever you're aiming. Red missiles will fire and lock on to the nearest target in whatever direction you throw. So if you fire a red missile forward and there's somebody in front of you, it will lock on to that person. If you fire it behind you, it'll lock on to whoever is behind you. But keep in mind with the red missile that if you fire it, for example, into a corner or while there's nobody around, it won't lock onto them and it will go just straight into a wall. And then you'll basically just have been out an item that you could have used to, for example, pass the person ahead of you or keep the person behind you from passing you. And then the blue torpedo is pretty easy. You throw it and it just seeks onto whoever's in first place and will hit them. And then we have the mushrooms. Mushrooms can drop as 1s or 3s, and they work the same as a mushroom would in Mario Kart, where they just give you a small boost of speed as soon as you use it. And there's also a golden mushroom, which still gives a small boost of speed, but you can spam that one and use it multiple times so that you can get a lot of boosts in a row, and you can pass a huge majority of people. You'll normally only get the golden mushroom when you're towards the back of the race, but it can be used really easily to get back into the front. Say you're in 8th, and there's a group of 5 people that are in front of you that just keep hitting you with missiles every time you try and go through. You can use a golden mushroom and just sort of get right past them back on your way into first. And then there are fireballs, which also come in triples and singles. And fireballs are one of the most misused items in Turbo Kart. because so many people will just throw them right away and just sort of like hope that they'll hit somebody in front of them. But what they don't realize is that fireballs add heat onto the drift meter, and if you hit somebody twice with them, it'll guarantee that they're going to spin out. So if you just throw them randomly, it's not really going to help you any. What you want to try and do is aim 2 of them at one person, or aim 1 of them at somebody as soon as they drift. Because if they drift and then you hit them, it's basically the exact same as they'd get by being hit from 2 of them, and they're still going to spin out. Fireballs are really useful, and I feel like not enough people utilize them properly. And also with the fireballs, we have snowballs. Snowballs drop in either sets of 5 or sets of 8, and when you get hit by them, it slows down your cart, so you can use them on the person ahead of you if you want to be able to try and get in front of them, but it'll also cool down the cart when hit. So there's a way of using snowballs on your own cart, so that you could, for example, drift, and then cool yourself down enough that you can do another drift right afterwards, but you'll be losing a little bit of speed there when you use them. Now, a couple of these are going to go by really quickly. Plasma shields are basically the star in Mario Kart. You become immune and you gain extra speed, and you also can't spin out from a drift while using it. It doesn't matter how high your drift meter gets, so you can try snake drifting, where you just sort of drift in one direction and then the other consistently to gain speed whenever you have a plasma shield out, and you won't actually spin out. Silly bombs place a bomb behind you. The bomb will explode, and anybody who drives through it is going to get launched into the air. A squid will blind all of the other drivers for a couple of seconds. And a lightning bolt, it acts the same as a lightning would in Mario Kart again. It strikes all of the other players on the map. They spin out, they'll shrink, and they also lose speed. And finally, another one of the items that is misused so much is the notched sword. The notched sword is just a normal sword that you get that lets you hit the drivers that are near you. But what people don't seem to realize as much is that when you hit somebody, that player is going to gain speed in whatever direction that you hit them. So if you have a sword and come up behind somebody, hit them from behind, they're going to get a huge boost of speed going forward. Whereas if you get slightly in front of them and then hit them from the front, they'll take a huge amount of speed going backwards, and you can pull ahead even further. Or you can also use it from the side if you want to try and hit them into a corner or into a wall to slow them down long enough that you can sort of get ahead. Also, I forgot about this until I was, editing the video. There is a resource pack for Turbo Kart Racer. It doesn't always work when you get it from playing the game. I'll leave a link to where you can get it for yourself in the description, and you'll just use it like any normal resource pack. I'll also leave in the description a link to the Discord server for Turbo Kart Racers. They require a minimum of 30 laps completed, which is 10 races, before you can actually join it, just because they were getting a lot of bot accounts spamming it. But it is a great place to find a lot of useful information and just be able to talk with a lot of the other people who play Turbo Kart. And that is about all that I'm going to be covering in this video. There is a few things that I didn't go over, like the different parts that you can get for your cart, as well as all of the different settings that you can use while playing Turbo Kart. But this video is basically just for the people who are going to be going into the tournament, so I didn't want to go over all that stuff since it's not going to make that big of a difference in the tournament. Everyone's carts are going to be maxed already, and I'm assuming that the settings aren't going to make much of a difference, considering that they don't make much of a difference to gameplay in normal games. But I do hope that everybody enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll try and answer them all to the best of my ability. As you can see from the board behind me that says I only have 53 wins, I'm not the best at Turbo Kart. There's definitely people better than me, but I have been playing it a lot over the past couple months. I've learned a lot of new things, and I figured I'd just share some of that information with you guys. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to. I mostly do Skyblock content, but I'm hoping to be able to branch out a bit more and do content all across the Hypixel server. And yeah, I just hope that this helped at least a couple of people learn how amazing Turbo Kart is. because before this tournament, that player count was always under 20, and it was really upsetting to see. But I will see you guys in the next one, and have fun in the tournament.